Yeah. Hey, what's up, friends? Welcome to the stream, to the channel, to tonight's little... I wasn't planning on doing this. We're gonna have some fun. So tonight we're going to... let me back this up. My name is Eric. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. I am a writer, director, photographer, cinematographer, editor, and fight choreographer. And I've done all of these things through the last 15 years of my life, and I love getting to share them with you guys on here. So that's who I am. That's my channel. If you enjoyed this, please check out some of the rest of my content either on YouTube or at erichackler.com. And yeah, tonight we're gonna do something a little bit different. I know I haven't been on stream a lot lately. I'm going to be streaming more. I am probably gonna make a move back to Twitch for a little bit. Maybe, yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna test going back to Twitch. And then uploading the live streams to YouTube. So the videos will still be on YouTube. The live engagement will be on Twitch. We'll see how that goes. I'm experimenting a bit with platforms, but I'm also working on like a new streaming layout, which would be freaking cool. So we're gonna play with that. Hopefully there'll be some cool new graphics coming up. Speaking of, that's part of tonight. So tonight, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a little fun. I've got a few little things to do in various programs, and I thought let's do it all on stream. Let's just, there's a photo I need to edit in Lightroom. We're gonna do that. Be a quick little one shot. Cool photo that I took on Saturday night. So we're gonna do that. Then we're gonna jump into Photoshop, and we're gonna do edit some photos into assets, and then we're gonna go into After Effects, and we're gonna work on the beginnings of a new opening for my streams. So yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. So that's the plan for tonight. We're gonna jump around a little bit. We'll finish some stuff. We'll play with some stuff. It'll be quick. It'll be fun. We'll just be goofy. That having been said, if I hit this button, I think we get into Lightroom. So here's the photo we're editing, which is one that I love. It's one of those things where it's like I love doing light trail photography, and I've been to this spot once before, and I got some good photos, but none that I really, really loved. And now this is like, and I took this one on Saturday. I'm like, yep, this is where I want it to be. So this is what we're gonna work on. We're gonna edit this photo, and then we'll move on. We'll look at some of the others. I might edit another one from this group because there were some fun ones in there, and I'm certainly gonna come back and edit these eventually. There we go. First hit of sweet tea. But yeah, so we're gonna do this photo, and then we're gonna bounce on over to Photoshop with a couple of breaks in between. So that's the plan. So I'll get started working on this. What do I want to start? I'm actually, of course, starting with a photo that I already really like. So my first thing I always do is play with clarity. Clarity's brightening up a little bit more than I want it to, because this photo really, like, I think what I'm gonna probably do with this one is bring the shadows up. Bring the blacks up. Is that what I want to do? Actually, kind of. Blacks up, shadows down, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Texture up, I think, is a good idea. I might do that a little more selectively. Let me put that away for a second. Dehazing. Oh, there we go. It's a foggy night now. I like dehazing. Especially in reference to what I'm doing with the blacks, but we'll see. Right now I'm just kind of touching around and seeing what I can do. I know I'm going to try to get rid of this lens flare in the sky, which, fun fact, looked like this in the previous shot. One of the few times I wished I had a matte box with me, because to get this, and I didn't quite get rid of it, but to get it better, I was actually holding my hand out kind of next to the camera lens, just to kind of flag that off. And that's where a matte box would come in handy. So there you go. We've got it on record that I don't hate matte boxes. I think they're overused, and I think they're the value people place on them is not the actual value that they have. But it would have been nice here. Okay. So yeah, and then we can. These photos I think are gonna live it. This photo's gonna live and die on color. I think I'm like a black and white version of this will exist. It looks good. Let me go ahead and let me do some editing first, and then I'll come back and do a black and white, or at least make a black and white version to work on later. Let's see. So blues. Let's see, yellows because they're gonna pump with the reds. Oranges for sure. Find my greens and push them to yellow. So I want that color to kind of be there. Let's see. bring this up. We can bring them down. Let's bring them down. Let's start. I'm probably gonna do that with luminance. Aquas. Aqua brightens up this sign back here, and that's it. There it is. And like the other sign. All right, we can let them be bright. Let them be a thing. Though, no, now look at it. No, they shouldn't be. That's distracting from the photo. This photo's about light. Stick with light. All right. I guess I could bring up the saturation of the reds. Yeah, yes, I'm going to. What didn't I think to do that from the start? Okay, cool. So let's come on down to our luminance one, which I think I'm gonna have some fun with. Okay, yeah, bringing up the yellows I think is what I want to do there, because it's going to light up the whole make the train station kind of part of it. The Richmond downtown train station is gorgeous, by the way. I did a bunch of photos there as well. Bring up the yellow, bring up the oranges isn't doing as much as I want it to. The reds a little bit, but if I bring them up too much, I start losing the redness of it, and I don't want to do that. Greens, I'm going to brighten up. I've desaturated them. If I brighten them up, now they can be part of this. The aquas, I'm just going to turn down. It's going to get some of those edges there. Blues are coming up. I want the blues up. The magentas and purples, not really making much of a difference other than just kind of being edges, and I don't want to. I'll let them just kind of, again, keeping kind of a smooth gradient there. Keeps me from getting too many harsh edges on things. This is also a photo I really should remove the chromatic aberrations from. Profile correction. Nah, actually, hang on. I kind of want to over distort this. Does that make a difference if I turn that off? Vignettes it a little bit, but yeah, it's not okay. We're leaving that off. I kind of like it. This was shot on my 24-105 at I think at 24 millimeters, so it's not a wide lens, but shooting at the widest end of it, I get a little bit of that little kind of punch you get from a wide lens, and I like that. So if I could exaggerate it, I would. I think I can if I go down here to the transform effect panel, but I don't really want to, like, it's not my goal necessarily. I like that element of it, but I don't want to make it too much of a thing. Okay, next thing to work on. Let's see. First question, why is my phone vibrating? Because I'm getting podcasts. That's cool. Okay, let's play with more. Clarity. You guys know I love clarity. I don't think I want to do it on this one, though. Honestly, bringing the clarity down is kind of cool. Might be something to that. Texture, I'm going to do something specific with, so we're going to leave texture alone for now. And dehazing, maybe. I might do dehaze as a last-minute thing. I think dehaze is where it's going to be one of the last things I do. Highlights. Highlights I'm going to bring down. I want to see if I can drop out some of those bits where I'm like super exposed. Bringing the whites down helps a little bit, so I can bring the highlights back up a little bit so we can get a little more balance in the photo. Shadows. Yeah, I want to bring the shadows up. And then I want to bring the blacks down. I'm going to do the opposite of that. That's pretty good, actually. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's bring the blacks down just that little bit again, just like that. Cool. Okay, that's a start. Now, let's start masking. Got 2-3 masks I want to do on this. First mask, sky. Tea. Delicious. That's the thing. It's another reason I'm going to take breaks every time so I can go and get more tea. Okay, that mask is looking pretty decent. Overall pretty good. I want to subtract with a brush, and I want to get this off the tower. I want to get it off the clock tower here. Get off of that. It can be on the top of the skyline, kind of over there. I can let it be kind of there, but I want it off the tower because I'm going to use the tower. Okay, cool. So we've got our sky. Let's create a new mask. This one's going to be a luminance range, and I'm clicking the dark areas. I want the darkest spots on the map. I want to extend this because I want this to be big. I want everything that's not bright to be encapsulated, kind of like that. There we go. Bring that down a little bit. I can adjust this as I go. So there's my mask getting everything else. And I want one more mask, and this is going to be radial. And there's going to be 2 radial masks on this one because we're getting the clocks. We're going to see if we can't bring those down enough to get a little more detail out of them. They're the one part of this photo that's overexposed and I'm not exactly thrilled about, so we're going to work on that. I'm going to turn the feathering down so that I get a nice. I can do a little bit of feathering, but like for the most part, I can get a nice solid edge on these, and that's cool. And let's add a radial gradient as well, so we can get this one. And that way, having two of them means I can do whatever I do to one, I'll be doing to the other. And since they're both about equally overexposed, that's enough to work with. I feel like there's only some of this I'm not going to be able to get back, but I want to be able to get as much detail as I can. There's a lot of tricks I can use to darken. Okay, cool. So we got our 3 masks. Let's zoom back out and start working with them. The first one is the sky. Let's work on the sky first. Now for the sky, let's see. Bring up the shadows a bit. Get a little more blue in there. That's good. Dehazing is going to darken. Go in the other direction. It's not going to help. Okay, I don't want to do that. Bring the clarity down. That's going to soften the sky up, and that'll be nice. I like that. Highlights up. Yeah, bring the highlights up a little bit. Again, I want this photo to be mostly about the light here, but having the sky in there and an element, I think, is a good idea. It's got a little bit of grain in there. Let's denoise that. Come down here to the noise slider and turn that up, which technically turns the noise down. Weird choice there. I could turn the sharpness down, but I feel like that's gonna. I feel like that might affect things. I don't want it to. It's actually not too bad. We're gonna turn that down. We're gonna turn the sharpness down a bit. There's nothing really happening in the sky, and that's fine. That's not the focus of the photo, and so I'm okay with that. All right, let's go on to our second mask, and this mask is basically all the dark spots. It's everything but the light. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna bring the texture down. Bring the texture down. I'm gonna bring the shadows down. I don't know if I want to do anything with the light. I think I just want to bring the texture down. There we go. And now we're going to do there's one more mask I want. I want to duplicate and invert. So this is going to get me just the bright spots. Even then I might still adjust this a little bit more so it's even more specific for this one because I want to bring, nope, let's go this way. Yeah, I just want the brightest spots. And there I'm going to bring the texture up. So now we've got the texture on the, more or less on the strands of light, but less on some of the other details, and I'm happy about that. Let's go ahead and let me see the overlay here. If I push this a little bit that way, let's see. Just see if I can get those brightest spots. Yeah, something like that. I think looks good. Let's turn that off, and we'll do a without and with. So there's without, and there's with, and it sharpens it up a little bit, and in the spots that I want your eye drawn to. So that matters to me. Okay, and our final mask is our clock, which I am gonna have to zoom in on because right now it's just covered by icons. And let's see, step one, bring the exposure down, but that's gonna end up looking weird. And I think this is too overexposed to get some real good detail out of it, but we're gonna see what we can do. Bring the whites down. The highlights where they are. It's getting there. It looks a little bit. It looks too flat to me. I want it to still want to have its brightness. So let's play with texture and dehaze. Let's see if they're a better option for us. Texture helps for sure. Clarity, I think clarity is gonna. Clarity is actually helping. It's brightening, but it's also helping. And then dehaze. Kind of doing the same thing. It's bringing all that sharpness up, and I don't love that. Let's bring the sharpness down. It's okay, that's a bit much. Let's see what the sharpness where it was. Sometimes that sharpness effect is really aggressive, and I don't care for it. And then bring the contrast up is going to sharpen. Bring the contrast down, it helps. Okay, that's good. It's a simple enough effect. Nope, let's not do that. Yeah, shadows aren't really a thing, but I bring the shadows and the blacks down. That'll help a little bit. The other thing I want to do is desaturate. That's coming out a little bit blue. I'd rather it didn't. Okay, cool. Let's see. One other thing to do. Let me do a new mask with a brush. We got some glares here on these lights, and I want to see if I can soften those up. So I'm gonna just do a pop right there real fast. I'm gonna test it on 2 of them, and then I'm gonna brighten them up like that, and I'm gonna bring the texture down and the clarity down. Let's leave that alone. Yeah, let's leave the clarity. If I bring the clarity up, is it actually gonna make a better difference? It is. It helps get rid of that edge. I'm happy about that. Okay, cool. Bring bring the contrast down, actually. That also helps clean that up and get it a little smoother. So now that I've got that brush set, I can just kind of go around to each of these and just sort of click. And we're going to brighten them all up a little bit. But we're also going to get rid of some of that edging. That'll look good. This one's a little bigger, so we're going to brighten that up. Make my brush bigger. Good. Let's get this guy. Make sure we got him. Nice. Let's get this one here. And this guy here. This whole collection of little guys down here. It's one of the downsides to doing long exposures at nighttime in the city is that you do have to, you get street lights that kind of flare out like this, and then you do some editing to them, and they end up you get some weird edges, and so you try to fix it. Just with little touches like this. That's part of the fun. Cool. Let's see if there's any other spots that I missed on that. Let's zoom in by 50%. Looks like there's a few of them over here that might need a little bit of a touch-up, so let's take a look. Yep, these two could use it. They're getting a little crystally. There we go. That guy as well. This one's looking all right, but let's go ahead and give it a little hand there. And then, yeah, these two down here. The gold one's kind of okay, but these ones down here are a little bit need a touch. There we go. And let's hit that. Nice. These ones back there I think are far enough away that I'm not going to worry too much about them. All right, let's look through here. That lens flare doesn't bother me too much. This guy's is kind of a mess like that, but that's pretty cool. All right. So final thing I want to do is crop. I want to do a little bit of an adjustment here, I think, because I want to bring this into about there. I think doing that, I can actually bring this down a bit. I don't want to lose the sky because I like the sky. I want to keep it like this. But bring it in gets, we don't lose much of we don't really lose any of the highway. We lose a little bit of the train station, but there's still plenty of it. Yeah, I am really happy with that, actually. I'm going to do one last thing. We'll just throw a vignette on. Just a little bit. Just want to darken my edges just a bit. Darken down here and kind of the areas down there. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And then the last thing I said I was going to do was play with dehaze. So let's dehaze a little bit. Yep, so yeah, a little bit of that, I think, is that what I want to do? I'm not sure I want to do that. I think contrast is causing the same problems. Clarity's not giving me what I want. What do I want this to, what's missing from this? A little bit of clarity. Actually, a little bit of clarity, a little bit of dehaze. And then I'm going to come down here. I'm pushing my orange and my yellows all the way up. I want some real good brightness out of them. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I wanted to make sure this underbelly under the train station really pops in addition to this, and that is what I needed. Okay. Beautiful. I'm happy without this. Clock tower is more or less center frame. Everything else is kind of around it, and then you got this beautiful array of light down here. Phenomenal. 3 stars. Moving on. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like in black and white, just so I have an idea what I'm working with. Okay, yeah, black and white version of this photo is going to happen. Let's go ahead and do a... I didn't mess anything up, did it? No. Cool. Let's go ahead and do a duplicate, just like that, virtual copy. And I'm going to set that at 2 stars. And we're going to go black and white. And that way I'll know what to come back to. Let's look at some other photos from that night. Let's see. Other shots of the clock tower. The street lamp in front of it intentionally. And then there's a... Let's flip this. There we go. That's a fun one. It's got a lot of character to it. I was working on did a couple of these where you really get the train station and the clock tower. I think this one's my favorite. So yeah, wasn't quite back as far as I want to be. Let's work on this one. We're gonna do a few of these because I'm now in a groove. And I love the silhouette there. I think I'm gonna let that silhouette sort of be its own. I'm not gonna try to pull that out. I'm gonna do kind of a similar thing to what I did before with a mask for the darkness. Okay, so we'll bring the shadows down. We're gonna lose. Bring the blacks down though. We're going to do that. There we go. Immediately now I want to come down here to my color sliders. Yellow is not doing much. This one's all orange. Bring the orange up and we're going to brighten the orange because that bottom needs to be, yeah, there we go. I'm going to brighten those up. That bottom needs some color in it. I want to crop this. a little bit, but also not. Like, kind of want to come in here and do it like that. Give it that. Yeah, that looks good. Let's see what else there's there. I love having the car down there. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do some masking first. I want the sky, which should be easy. More tea, of course. Gotta take hits. Excellent. That looks good. Okay. So we got a sky mask. I also want a same deal, luminance mask. I want the dark spots. I want just the darkest dark spots. So we're gonna actually, yeah, that looks good. Pretty happy with that. I might work on subtracting the truck down there because I do kind of like it. Let's do a subtract brush. Bring the feathering way down, and let's just sort of clear this guy up so that he can be part of the photo. I'm just gonna get rid of, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of all this because I want him in. I want that truck in that bus in the photo. I think that's a good element to have. There we go. Actually, I'm surprised how clean my brushwork was there. I feel really good about that. Who's sending me texts? Who dares? Sorry, guys. I am curious. Gotcha. Cool. All right. Okay. So we'll continue on. Let's create a new one, and now I'm going to do a brush on again on the clock, and this time the clock is gonna be good. So let's do. Well, this isn't the brush. It's gonna be radial. Third mask, radial gradient. Here we go. Let's get in there. And this one, yeah, because like this one I exposed correctly. It's one of the reasons the lights on the ground are a little bit darker. But this is a much shorter exposure. Which helps me get a good exposure on something like this because this clock tower is very bright. So just neatness mostly counts. That's pretty good. And now, unfortunately, the side here. It's not quite. Actually, you know, I can get creative with this. Okay, we're gonna add a radial gradient, just like that. Here's how we're gonna do this. Pull this up. Get it pretty much where I want it. By the way, these are photos that I took from. I took when I led a street photography at night meetup. Excuse me. We're going to stick with a linear gradient, and we're going to just cut off that edge, just like this. Right, that shouldn't be intersecting that way. I don't like that. Okay, I know what to do. Okay, so we're going to come down here. We're going to cut this off. But yeah, we did a street photography at night meetup where we kind of wandered around the city for a couple hours and found a bunch of cool photography spots. This, you know, all these photos from tonight being from there. So. If you are in the Richmond area and inclined to try something like that, you are more than invited. All right, I'm just going to move this up. And now, it is now on top of the others and therefore shows up. So that is good. All right, so now we can start editing our masks. I've got the clock together. Let's go ahead and work on that one. And this should be a little bit easier. We're just going to bring the highlights down. That looks good. I'm probably going to bring the texture up just because I like having those details. Blacks down a little bit, gives us a bit more definition to it. Boom, that almost looks fake. Perfect. All right, let's hit the sky. Sky's real easy. Kind of the same deal. We're gonna denoise it. We're gonna bring the texture down. Doesn't need either of those. It just needs to be a big hunk of blue, which it can absolutely be. I kind of like it as the blue that it is. I'm gonna saturate it a little bit more to give it a little bit of darkness. That looks good. Fits in with the photo really well. Next one, we're gonna do the same thing we did last time. Duplicate and invert. But now we're gonna adjust that in a second. We're gonna start with this. Start with this one, which is our dark spots, and we're just gonna bring them down. Like, there we go. Bring those dark spots down. We're gonna turn up the clarity on them. It's not really doing much because they're underexposed. They're gonna show up as black. There we go. Cool. Nothing to worry about. Happy about that. This one I want to be our bright spots. So, luminance range. We're going to get that mask off of the dark stuff. We're going to push this way. We go like this until it's just the bright spots, like that. Going to turn off the brush because I don't want it. I only want it affecting. I want it affecting the bright spots, and the bright spots on the bus are chosen, but not the whole thing. And then I'm going to subtract the sky so that we just get. There we go. I'm going to subtract the sky. I'm also going to do a subtract brush, and I'm going to get rid of the clock tower. The clock does not need to be part of this. Cool. So now I can take our lights and I can bring them up. I can brighten them up a bit. I can add clarity to them, which will give them some. Actually, put the highlights back. I'll just do this with clarity. Like that'll give it some real nice, some pop to it. Texture, no, texture doesn't need it. Dehaze. Dehaze gives it some color. That's the thing I like about like. I always heard that clarity and saturation work really well together because clarity tends to like, you know, sharpen and crisp up the lines, but also at the expense of the saturation. So you usually want to bring the saturation up to kind of get back where you were. I like clarity and dehaze. I like clarity and dehaze together because clarity gives you that sharpness, and then dehaze kind of takes the colors and doesn't let them get white. It kind of like without it, and then with it, it gives you the high contrast colors, but nothing else. And I really like that. As opposed to turning up the highlights, which turns them all white, which is not what I want to do. Turning up the whites is going to make them kind of worse, so we're going to leave that alone. All right. If I push the saturation, yeah, it makes it a little better. But that looks pretty good. I'm actually really happy with that. The only thing I'm considering doing is taking my yellow slider on hue and shifting it to a little bit toward orange, just to kind of. We had some different color temperatures in here, and usually I love that. Usually I'm a diehard fan of. I'm a diehard fan of like, you know, different, you know, kind of the textures of different colors within what looks like a single color. But in this case, I want this all to be orange. I'm leaning into that look. The sky, the clock tower, and then boom, this gorgeous incandescent lighting. So there's that. That one gets 3 stars. I'm happy. Let's take a look. There's some photos we took here before the sunset. Looking forward to editing this one. I'm probably not gonna do this one tonight because this one's one I'm looking forward to. But yeah, just. This is the James Monroe building in downtown Richmond is a beautiful, beautiful spot. Let's see. So sorry, just checking. Okay, message from a director. I gotta connect with him about a new render of the movie. If you were in, by the way, if you're in New Jersey, in and around July 7th, the film that I shot called The Devil's Playground, which I believe I edited some parts of on stream. That movie is getting a premiere. Its New Jersey premiere is in Red Bank, New Jersey on July 7th. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to reach out. Let me know. It's the Jersey Shore Film Festival, so you can go to their website and find it. But yeah, if you're in Jersey and want to check that out, would love to have you there. Love to get to share. It's cool that I might be able to share the work that you guys saw me editing like, you know, a year ago when it actually hits a big screen. That's really, really a cool thing for me. All right, and the last thing I want to do is I was having some fun with this building and this little flower. And this is a great chance to talk about lenses because this was shot on my 24 to 105 millimeter lens at 24 millimeters. So this is my the wide end of that lens. I was like, I love the idea of the the little flower growing up through the concrete and being, connected to the building. I think that's cool. So I did a couple of those. And then I was like, all right, this is kind of making the point that I want to make, but it's not, I think I can do better. And that's when we switched to a wide angle lens. And now I can do this. And now it is the height of the building. Excuse me while I just correct the orientation on all these. And yes, I know I can sync them and do it that way, but I want to just do it by hand because it's quicker. But yeah, so now I've got, the plant coming out of the ground all the way up to the top of the building, and I really, really love how that looks. And this one got rotated the wrong way, and this one definitely got rotated the wrong way. There we go. Yeah. And I sat there taking a bunch of photos of this just to get it right. So, yeah, I think this is the one we're going to work on. We'll see how well this works. Okay, so let's see. Is this the one I want to work on? Not that one. Okay, let's go ahead and delete that one. Let's just delete it from the disk. I'm not going to use it. All right, so I got these two are mostly similar, just with a horizon change because I'm trying to do this handheld. Let's see, compare that one to that one. I think this is the one to work on. I think we can work on this. All right, so let's go back to edit. Let's see. Chromatic aberrations for sure. Profile correction. This is a wide lens. This is gonna make a difference. I don't want to. I want to have the. I love the I love wide angle lenses. I love the warp they give me. I'm gonna stick with that. All right, now we're gonna crop this in. We're also. Oh, I guess the first thing I want to do is fix my angle, because my horizon is a little bit off, and I want to fix that. So there we go. That actually looks worse. Okay, let's reset that. Let's try that again. You'll make me do this by hand, aren't you? Let's come across to there. You think that's straight? Okay. Let's adjust until I think it's straight. Sometimes we're having the lines show up on the thing. Let's put this on. It's actually pretty useful because I can just align the edge of the building more or less with the line and try to get it straight. And it's not cooperating. Did I actually get this right? Is that actually straight as is? I'm gonna go with it for now. All right, let's bring this down. Let's bring this up. It's actually, I think this could be a pretty good one-to-one. Yeah, it's almost a perfect one-to-one. Okay, we can crop this in a bit, bring it over like that. There we go. Part of wants off center. I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna off center it and kind of let the vine be, or my little flower be kind of centered, and then the other one be off. I'm actually really, I think that's kind of cool. Okay. Now, step one, I want to mask. This one I want to do some masking on. Let's start by getting the sky. That's an easy one. That's just the default. I'm going to use it probably. There we go. Nice and simple. A couple spots I need to clean up. Let's do that real quick. Subtract with a brush. Turn the feathering back up a little bit. And then just kind of get it off of there. Get it off the top of the building. Get it off of this area of the building. For some reason it's there. I don't know why. You know, it's funny. The photos that I think would be have the more complicated skies, Lightroom seems to have no problem with. The ones that seem to, that feel like they should be very easy, just given that it's, a bunch of mostly straight lines, is where Lightroom seems to get a little weird about it. But no worries. We can work with that. Let's get this area down here for some reason is part of it. It's all part of the sky. Okay, cool. That works. All right, let's do a new mask. I want to tell this the subject and see what it gives me. I'm hoping it gives me the flower. It's probably the name of the building. But let's see. Lightroom is decent about it. It gave me both. Okay, I can use both. I'm going to go ahead and invert this. So I've got everything else. We'll have that as well. Not sure I'm going to use it, but let's try again. Now we're going to do an object brush. I'm going to tell it to get me this thing. I'm going to not let it get me the whole building. I'm going to tell it I want the thing wrapped in that. And this is going to make the camera lag a little bit. Damn, I ran out of tea. Okay, well, this is going to be the last photo we edit because then I need more tea. Oof. I'm gonna let it work on that. I'm gonna just text somebody here real quick. Let's see, there we go. That's what I wanted to happen. Okay, cool. All right, let's get off my chair. Cool. All right, sorry about that, guys. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so let's clean up this mask if we need to. Zoom in a couple spots that could be cleaned up a little bit. Let's subtract with a brush. A little bit of cleaning up here. Let's see. Let's clean up the center of this. Let's clean up this edge here. And the good news is I don't think, well, I say good news, we'll find out. I don't think I'm doing too much adjusting light. I think I'm mostly adjusting texture. So hopefully I don't need to be specific in getting this right. This is one of those masks that I can be a little bit more lax on and kind of let the thing sort of be its own and not worry about it being, not worry about too many edges. We'll see. We will find out. 'Cause that sounds like famous last words to me, and yeah, I said it a lot. Then I ended up sitting here and going through the whole masking process, and I thought this was gonna be the last photo, and then I was gonna jump into Photoshop, and oh man, this night is just, it's off the rails already. That's what it's a real thrilling party over here in at the Checkerliar Pictures studio. Just, yeah, masking woes and sweet tea. Let's get up here. Let's bring that up. I guess masking woes and sweet tea could describe a lot of the South during the pandemic. So maybe I shouldn't adopt that as my unofficial theme. It's interesting. This little kind of edge work I've not seen on these masks before. It's weird that it's got. I wonder why that's there. I wonder if that's something that got built in the new update. Oh, it looks pretty good. Okay. Let's get rid of this little spot here. Let's do that. Nice. And this. Good. Just missing this one leaf. Let's go ahead and grab that. Let's come in and zoom into 200%. Yep. We're going to do an add brush. So I'm going to bring the feathering up higher. And we're just going to bring this little friend into the fold. There we go. Cool. All right. And now we're going to do a duplicate and invert. Excellent. All right. I think we're set to start doing some work on this. So where do I start? I'm going to start here with texture and clarity. We're going to bring up the clarity of our flower. We're going to bring up the texture of our flower. That's our focus. That's what we want to notice. Dehaze? No, that's a bad idea. We're going to leave that alone. That might be harsher on the clarity than I want it to be. We will come back to that if we need to. We're going to bring the texture down. Looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. It's got some detail, but still feels like it's its own thing. Yeah, the crop on this is gonna drive me nuts. I may adjust that later. But let's continue on. I'm gonna bring bring the highlights in the background down. No, I don't want to dehaze it. If anything, I want to raise or lower the contrast and let this be kind of be its thing like that. I kind of like how that's looking. And here's the thing. Here's the reason I'm kind of struggling to edit this photo is because I'm not sure what I want this photo to be. Like, this photo is clearly it's bringing up the relationship between, you know, the flower growing out of the concrete and the giant building that's grown out of the city. But I don't know if I want that to be, you know, I don't know if I want to be pro that, against it, some kind of antagonistic or some kind of ambivalent middle ground. I don't know if I want to go black and white or lean into color. I gotta figure out what I want this photo to be. I know I don't like this crop. For starters, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna bring this up some more so it's kind of like that. Yeah, step one, I like that a lot better already. Good. We're gonna start with that. Genuinely, let's see if I can get rid of that building altogether. Let's see if we can do that just because I'm curious. See if it'll let me remove this building. Might be able to, but it's Lightroom's notoriously kind of janky about removing things from edges. Let's bring this up to here. Let's bring this up a bit. It's over here. So where do I want to go with it? I want to go here. No, this is looking horrendous. Just creating new architecture. Get rid of that. I'll worry about it later. I might be one to drop into Photoshop and use the clone stamp on it, make it real, and just do it very specifically. Okay, in the meantime, let's go back to our masks. I want the sky mask. I'm going to denoise it for sure. I'm going to bring down the texture. Don't need to do much with that. I might dehaze it a bit because it gives us that little bit of glow, but at the same time, again, I don't know what this photo is yet, so I don't know if I want that. I think bringing the whites down is a pretty decent idea, though. I don't think that's a bad plan. And then we've got this mask, which is just the plant and our building, and that might be the one to do. If I want to do color, if I want to do light, editing the light for the building and the plant, this is the one to do it on. Okay, actually brightening up the shadows on the ground there really does make a difference. I really like that. I want to bring up the blacks. I want the blacks kind of even bring them down just a notch. Yeah, that's a good start. I'm happy with this. This photo is going to get, I'm going to stop for now. I'm going to give this photo 2 stars. I'm going to take a quick peek at before and after. So before, after, coming along. Looking at some of our other ones. So a quick peek at before and after here. Again, not huge changes, just kind of enhancing what's there. And this is kind of the, like, this is one of the times where, like, if I shot raw, if I shot JPEG, I'd probably end up with a photo that looks like this. And shooting raw, I got this. I'm trying to kind of, in this case, I'm kind of trying to get back to what it used to be, and that's fine. So that's all you want to do. And then there's this one, and we can talk before and after. On this one, same deal, kind of just enhancing what's there. And that's one of the things I love about street photography and nighttime photography, is that you're working with available light. You're working with the light that already exists, and so your compositions are often built around what light you have access to and what light you can do, what you can, how you want to light things. And so, what light you have access to and how you can shape it around a subject. And so, yeah, there's not a whole, like, for the most part on these photos, at least so far, you're not going to see a lot of big changes in the pre and post. You're just going to see them look sharper, crisper, and like kind of, cleaned up a good bit. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll find a reason to do some kind of big swing. But, all right, here's what we're going to do. Our next step is Photoshop. We are going to take a 3 to 4 minute break. I'm gonna go on mute. I'm gonna throw the Be Right Back screen up. We're gonna jump into Photoshop and we're gonna start creating some assets to then be used in After Effects. So, excuse me, but yeah, strap in for that. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll do more in 1 second. So we will be right back. Oh, there's the mute button. Okay, let's get back into it. Let's just jump back into stream. So hey, welcome to the next spot. We are now in Photoshop, and we're going to be working on 3 different assets for the video I'm going to work on. And basically, like I said, I've started working on a frame for my streams, so it won't just be kind of me in the bottom corner with the screen taking up everything else. It'll be a little more curated, a little flashier, a little more stylish, and I like that. And I think it's a thing I've kind of been delaying doing. I think it'll make the streams look more professional, and it would mean you've got my info and my logo and everything on the stream throughout, and I'd like that a lot. So, hey Shelby Lynn, you made it. By the way, just to show you, here's the final photo that we just did. So, there's that. Thank you for checking that one out. Okay, away with that. Back to this. So now we're going to create some assets, and by assets I mean things we can use in visual effects. Because here's the thing: almost all visual effects, are designed, are created out of assets. And this is not, we're not talking like CGIing a person. That's a whole different thing. But we're talking about creating. If we're creating motion graphics, if we're creating, a sci-fi effect of some kind, most of them are created by combining things that already exist from various asset libraries, or if you have a department that creates them. So these are all assets from Pixabay, which is a wonderful library for stuff. And we're gonna just tweak them and get them ready to drop and take into After Effects. So first thing I want to do with this frame here is I want to transform. This is gonna be the shortest part of it. I want to rotate. Oop, hang on. Why does that look like that? Interesting. Okay, cool. So what if I just rotate the image? There we go. That's better. That's what I'm looking for. All right, let's get this full screen. That looks much better. Cool. There's not a lot I actually need to clean up on this one. This one's actually in pretty good shape. I've already used this for a project, and we'll be using it again for an upcoming thing. So I've already got a pretty decent handle on this one. This one I'm pretty happy with. Mostly just want to show you it exists. To the next one. This is a camera icon. We're going to work on this. And basically, this is all we're doing here is removing backgrounds. So if I take my wand tool, let's turn the tolerance up a bit. There we go. Take my wand tool, and we're going to just delete that. Deselect. We're going to click on the other set parts that are white in here. We're going to delete them. We're going to zoom in here. We're going to do 1, 2. There we go. Just kind of shift click our way around this, because all I want is the black outline. Excellent. That looks pretty good. Let's deselect that. Now let's go ahead and do a quick little brightness and contrast adjust on here. Actually, this will work. I'm just going to bring the brightness down so that it's definitely black. Because I want that as an abstract icon. Excellent. Last thing I want to do is just to keep this cleaned up. I'm going to do a marquee that's a little closer. Just like that. I'm going to do image, crop. Deselect, scale it up. That looks good. It's about as big as it needs to be. I can and I will just do a save as for that. Last one here is a film slate. This one's a little more complicated, so we're going to leave it to last. Let's go back to our wand. I think it's a little more complicated. We'll see. So that's got most of that. We're going to click this and this and this and this. That's what I want. I'm going to do invert my selection, which is Control or Command Shift I, and we're going to delete everything else. Great. Let's deselect that, and then now we're going to do Control I, which will turn it black, and that looks pretty good. Let's kind of take a quick peek here, make sure I'm not missing anything. Honestly, I really like that it doesn't have the completed white stuff in there. It's got just kind of the teeth. I think that's a cool little detail for it. Compared to the photo one, this might be a little big. I think if I want to, I may take off that bottom layer, that bottom line down here. But that'll be something I probably mask off in After Effects if need be. So let's just once again take this image and crop and pull it up. There we go. Deselect. Okay. So we've just taken 3 photos and two photos, or we've taken 3 things, so I didn't do anything with this one, and turned them into assets. This one I can actually, to do something with it before I get into After Effects, I'm going to do that. And then just same deal. Image, crop, deselect, and full screen. Cool. And these are all PNGs. If you are unfamiliar with image formats, so a JPEG is a compressed thing. PNG is a little bit less compressed, and there's also TIFF is even bigger. TIFF is closer to a lossless file, so it's not compressed really in any way. But PNGs are really good for this kind of thing because they're small enough to, if you're doing something, I'm not doing a 4K video, I'm doing a smaller thing, so PNG is good, but it has that transparency layer. So if I were when I want to put something behind this because it's got that checkerboard layer, I can do that, and that makes it perfect for use in After Effects. So this was a real quick little moment. There wasn't much in Photoshop. Real quick moment. So once again, we're not gonna take too much a long break on this one. I'm gonna hit be right back. I'm gonna open up After Effects. I'm gonna import these, and we will import these in, and we'll start talking about them. So quick detour. And this is the reason it's fun to do Adobe stuff, is because Adobe is there's so many things where it's like, okay, we're gonna make a few things in Photoshop or in Illustrator or in Lightroom sometimes, and then we're gonna kick them over into After Effects and create something in After Effects, and we're gonna send that to Premiere, and it's fun to be able to do all of that. So that's part of what tonight's about. But anyway, back in a second. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so welcome to After Effects. Uh, those of you who are, yeah, you're watching the stream, you'll probably recognize this is as our outro. Of course, it's getting a little blurry now because I'm letting it render at a very low res because I don't need it to play too much. But yeah, this is After Effects where I've designed my intro and outro for this channel, and we're gonna work on a new one. Just the basics. So let's go ahead and close that down. And basically, here I'll show you how this works. Okay, so how many of these do I need? I can close a bunch of these off, but I'm going to start with what I got. Actually, I'm just going to open up some new things and just kind of work on it from that way. All right, so step one, I'm going to go to, if I double click, let me import some stuff. We're going to go up here to Assets. Here we go. We're going to import our film slate. We're going to import our gold frame, and we're going to import our photo camera. Import those three, import them. Excellent, there they are. I'm going to move them up here into the Assets folder. I'm then going to do a composition. Actually, I've got a couple more things I need to import. Let's come back, bring that back up. I've got a couple of wood textures that I want to import. Let's import those. Excellent. Those also get dropped into assets. Great. Cool. So now we're going to do a composition, new composition. Is that what this one is? Is this one really a 4K by 4K? That's what I was doing last. That's what I was doing last time. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't see a reason to do anything more than 1920 by 1080. So, new comp. We're gonna set this at 8 HD, 1920 by 1080. Frame rate is, let's do 23.967 because that is pretty standard for the US at least. And yeah, basic background color is black. Sweet. Composition 1. We're gonna rename that to let's call this. Let's call this Twitch. Twitch opening, which I can't spell. Twitch opening 2. 2. Where's the number 2? There's number 2. We'll start with that. Okay, cool. That's gonna get dropped into comps. So I try to keep things as organized as possible. So Twitch opening number 2 here. We've got the background transparency layer, which is good. Now I want to go ahead and start importing the pieces that I need. And I'm still figuring out exactly what this is going to be, but let's go ahead and import some basics. I want my 2 wood textures. I want to import both of them. Excellent. These are both huge, which is by design. Which one's the bigger one? It's a bigger one. Yeah, I think I like that one better anyway, so let's get rid of that. We're going to have the 1 here. And this is going to be our background that we are going to work our way up into as we go. So that's our background. Cool. Bring in our other assets. I want the film slate, the camera, there's the camera. Let's get all them in. Let's bring them all in, and that'll be. We'll work on those as we go, which is good. I'm gonna have to adjust that camera again, but that's okay. And now let's see, what else do I want? I've got some YouTube logos, I've got some Twitch logos. I'm probably gonna work them in eventually. The other thing I want is okay, let's zoom that out. So this is the Checkerliar Pictures opening, and all the reason I edit this in that, in the same After Effects file that I built that in, is because I can use it for the assets are already built in here. I can use it that way. So here's what I want. I'm just gonna copy stuff out of the YouTube opening here. I'm gonna close all these up so I can find the exact stuff that I want. Let's see, that's the text that shows up at the beginning. There we go. So I got the aperture here. I've got the red curve and the blue curve. I need all them. Also got masks on them as well, I think. We're gonna bring all that in. So we're going to, and a lot of that is just, aren't these just there to, yeah, they're just there to kind of react off of the other thing. So hang on a second. Let's grab the 3 of these. Yep, okay, those are just as they are, which is what I want them to be. So we're gonna copy those. We're gonna drop them into here. And they're coming along with the way they've been keyframed to move, and so we're gonna work on that. That's gonna change on this one. Let's go back to my YouTube opening again. What I was working with. Let's come up to find the aperture because I need that as well. Okay, I need the Checkerliar CL. That's an important thing to include, which is right here, but is coming in with it's got a mask on it, which I'm probably gonna make use of. Just not immediately. Let me copy that and paste. So I've become a ridiculously huge fan of track mats lately. So we're gonna talk about what I do with that as well, because I've become a ridiculously huge fan of them. And I think there's some good opportunity for that in this project. Let's see. Once again, blue curve and red curve, and that's just mostly because oops, stop moving the work area. Those are just there to. I'm now. It's funny looking back at this. I'm now realizing I've gotten much better at this. Okay, do I have everything? I think I kind of do. Got all the pieces. I think so. I got them in decent shape. Okay, and then I'll have to do various basic stuff in terms of adjusting from there. But for now, let's see. I'm gonna select all of these, and I'm gonna hit U, which will show me all of the keyframes. And what I'm gonna do for all of them is I'm just gonna go to reset. And then I'm gonna turn off the stopwatch. Same deal. Reset, stopwatch off. And that's basically just getting rid of the keyframes. I'm just resetting them, and I'm not changing them over here. Over here, this is still going to do the same thing that it always did. But in this one, I don't want them to move the same way. I want them to do their own thing. So all 3 of these, select all 3. Let's reset them, and then let's turn off the stopwatches. So now that it's just going to be there where it's supposed to be. It's not going to move. And then the blue curve, same deal. Reset, and get rid of the keyframes. So there, now it shows up where it's supposed to be. Cool. This doesn't have anything. Nope, what's the scale on that? Scale on that's got to be lower than it's supposed to be. Reset. There we go, that's better. Cool. So now if I hit U, I can see that, there's no keyframes in anything. I can select them all. Oop, not that. Select them all, hit U. It should, I guess I gotta click them individually and close them all up. Sweet, okay. So basically, the goal for this new intro is going to be to sort of move along this wooden thing and kind of see various bits ingrained in it. I'm not going to do a whole lot of it tonight because this is a project I'm really looking forward to kind of hunkering down on my own and digging into it. But the wood texture is going to stay. I'm gonna at least try to work on the first one. All right, let's get back to my regular brush here, or my regular control. All right. So, how long is this opening? This opening is about 20 seconds long. That's probably about pretty good. Might try to be a little shorter on this one, but we'll see. So I don't need this. Let's adjust the composition settings. This is currently 1 minute and 26, and it does not need to be that. It can be, I'm gonna say 25. 25 seconds will give me enough room to work. There we go. And still keep track of stuff. So right now, the only thing selected is the wood texture. So let's go ahead and let me see it. Let me see scale on that one because I'm gonna bring this way down. There we go. All right, that's not bad. Yeah, I'm again second guessing is second guessing. That's just how this works. Let me check the other wood texture again. It's wood texture 2. Let's put in wood texture 1. Let's scale it down. I think both of these are probably big enough to work with. I do think I like that one a little better. I think that one's a little more interesting. All right, sorry, wood texture 2, wood texture 1 beat you. All right, once again, scaling down to, and these are just JPEGs. These are high quality JPEGs with a large aspect ratio, and which is good because what we're gonna do is we're gonna be zoomed in and we're gonna be moving this thing with it. And here's the fun thing that we're gonna do. Instead of like there's gonna be movement. We're gonna be moving through and things are gonna be appearing and disappearing at different times. And it's the fun thing about After Effects, and I can't wait to show you this once I get to it. And it's not tonight. It's probably the next session. Is that you can, excuse me. Is that I'm gonna be able to put all these things where I want them, and then, like I'm gonna put all these things where I want them, and then I'm gonna be able to like pre-compose them and then make them all move as one thing without having to keyframe each individual bit, and that makes me really happy. So what I want to kind of do is get to where I want to end this. Kind of what I want the ending of this to look like. I want to get to my end state first. So let's take our golden frame and scale that down. I want that to be kind of about, I think about there works. It's kind of right on line with everything else. Excellent. We're gonna take all of these. We're gonna turn them back on. We're gonna bring them all just back to here, just so that they can be where they need to be. So that I've got them all together, all the different pieces. Let's extend that back to the right length and put this here. And bring this one here. There we go. Cool. And we're going to take these three, which are definitely too big, scale them down to something like that. So it's kind of right in the middle of the thing. And then this one as well, scale it down. That was at 50%. It's got to be, there we go, 20. This should all be at 27, I think. So 27. There we go. That fits in nicely. So that's where that logo is going to end up being at the end. Probably not the same, almost definitely not the same animation, but I don't mind that animation, to be totally honest. We might. Actually, you know what? Hang on a second. If I scale this up, if I scale the aperture up, there's an answer to this. I scale the aperture up to right about there. If I go to 31, I go to 31. I put the gold frame above it. That should look like it's all coming out from under the frame. That looks really cool, actually. I'm a big fan of that, so we might do that. Okay, so all of these are getting scaled up to 31 to match you. No, the aperture's already good. Yeah, you and you. All right, try this again. Red curve, blue curve. There we go. 31. Boom. Okay, cool. So we got the logo where we want it. That's awesome. And it will do its thing. It'll come in from the sides. That's going to be really cool once we get the frame into the shot. The other things we're going to do. Let's see. So other things to test here. I'm just testing out plans. We're gonna come back to this, or I'm gonna come back to this on a later date. But for now, I'm playing. Okay, so let's take all these. Let's turn them off. Let's turn our film slate on. I want to play with this one. This here is we're talking about blending modes. Blending modes are right here, and they basically talk about how the thing interacts with what's below it. So you can yeah, they got this first, first category here is darken, multiply, color burn, so on and so forth, and that's kind of that's affecting the darker stuff. I'm gonna put motion blur on that. Turn that off. I don't want motion blur on those right now. In various ways, and because it's all black and white, you're not getting much. Then you got the other ones, which are the add ones, which are handling the lighter stuff, and they're handling it in different ways. None of this is going to show up much right yet. Then you get ones like overlay, and that's kind of where I'm hanging out here. These are a little more. That's what I'm looking for, something that kind of gives it that feeling of kind of being stuck in the wood or burned into the wood a little bit. He's kind of got a. It's funny, for as long as I've been doing this, I still click my way through almost every single blending mode because I like sort of picking. I'm always like, what's gonna be the best one to give me the look I want. Soft light seems to be the way to go. Difference is gonna be weird. A lot of these are color based, and because we're just working with black, it's mostly like, hey, that didn't work. Silhouettes and stencils. Can go that way. Can stencil and silhouette them. That's basically just That one's designed to get rid of the color. But let's go to soft light. Soft light seems to be the way to work. We may adjust that as we go in terms of, how if I want to make that look a little more sunken in, throwing a brightness and contrast thing on will be easy enough to do that. So let's do the same with the photo. This one I do need to adjust for real quick for sure. Let's go to soft light. Let it sort of get baked in. We're gonna go over to our presets. We're gonna look for not black and white. We're gonna look for black and white. Black and white works. Color correction, black and white. Onto our camera. And that's really not doing anything. Okay, this thing thinks it's black. Okay, let's try that again. Let's go brightness. Brightness and contrast. Another way you can do it is with levels. You can also do it with curves. There's a million different ways to do it. If I bring that down, bring the contrast up. With the legacy one, that someone's darkened. Legacy. We're gonna go legacy. We're gonna darken it as much as we can, and that looks decent. I'm pretty happy with that as a starting point. And so eventually, what we're gonna do as we go through this is we're gonna, this is not gonna be this size. This is gonna be, I'm gonna scale. Wood's at 37, but I'm gonna scale it all the way up, so that we're gonna see this as if it's burned into the wood texture. And we're going to sort of move past it. Like, we're going to kind of land on this, and the word photo is going to appear. And then we're going to move to the next one, and the word video is going to appear. And then we're going to kind of spin all the way out till we get back to 37, till we turn this off, and we get the frame comes in, and then we get the Check Out Our Pictures logo kind of appearing in there in various ways. And that'll be the way I welcome you guys to the streams from now on. Also, here's the thing I want to do. I want to make that frame a little bit smaller. So I'm going to take all of these because they're all dependent on each other. I'm going to go to scale. And if I click and type a number, it's going to take it all the same number. But if I click and drag, it will make them all, it will adjust them, ideally, while preserving the relative ratios. Not quite. You're going to have to work on that a little bit. But, hey, welcome back. But yeah, so that's where I'm at for tonight. I have to do that a little bit more. I think it's adjusting a little bit more than I want it to. We're gonna save that, and this has been. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night on this, but let's go ahead and bring me back on screen. But yeah, thank you guys for being part of this. Thank you for joining on a quick little tour of the Adobe suite. I'm excited that I'm working on this new stuff. I'm excited that I get to share little bits of what I'm working on. Hopefully, gonna be doing some photo editing or some video editing soon. And gonna start working on this. Hopefully, even if I don't do too much more After Effects work on stream, or at least maybe don't finish this intro on stream. I'm gonna give you guys updates as I go and show you kind of how I'm doing what I'm doing each time. So that'll be fun. And this kind of thing is probably a 2 or 3 session thing for me in After Effects, just not in terms of like the amount of work that it takes to do it, because in concept it's fairly simple, but I love the chance to, and I think this is important for anyone doing art, is to Shelby Lynn says hi to your fingers. But the thing I love about doing art, I think is important for anyone doing art, especially like this, where it's not as tactile, is to work on something, take time away from it, and come back with a deeper understanding of it. And so I usually do things in a couple of sessions, shorter sessions, and I work on other stuff, but it gives me time to come back and understand my work a little more. So thank you. With that said, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being part of this. I'm very glad that I got to share some fun little, a little tour of Adobe with you. We'll be doing more of this as we go. I say all this again. If you like the channel, like I said, please check out my work either on YouTube or at erichackler.com. And if you want to support my work, you are welcome to. You're encouraged to either go to. If you're making a movie and you want to work and you need an editor or a cinematographer, someone you want to work with, please by all means get in touch. Also, there's a contact form on the website. But also, if you like the photography and you would like to bring some of that into your home, I would love for you to go to erichackler.com/photography. There's a page on there, and you can, from there you can go to my portfolio, you can go to my Etsy store, and you can purchase a print or postcards or something like that. And that's a great way to support me and give me the little bit extra boost to keep doing this. And if you do that, let me know that you saw it on stream, and I'll give you a shout out on a call or on a future video. So, all that said, I talked too much. Thank you for joining. Thank you for spending this hour with me. And until next time, keep creating, keep being awesome, be well, and keep connecting with the world, and make your art in any form it takes, because there's so many beautiful art forms and there's so many things that we can share and be good at. So, thank you. Be safe, be well, have a good night, and we'll do this again.